Okay, so for those who are trying to get some nice definition in your model, where it's kind of ornamental edges or lines that go around, maybe a sword hilt or something like that, easy thing to do, I'm going to have this shape, I'm going to duplicate it, pull this forward, and then shrink it down. So if I go into X-ray mode, I can see something like this. This is a simplified object. It's not really anything that I would say would be what you should be looking for a sword, but this concept I think is easy to see when I do something like this. So what I'm doing is I'm making sure that I can find the... Let me make sure that I could get this to show up when I do this. So I'm going to go maybe about that deep and front. Trying to find that silhouette. And so now if I take this and try to match these shapes up, I'm just gonna try to keep a similar amount of width on here. And I'm gonna drop this section too, just a little bit. Trying to fit that in. And if I were doing this and not trying to be wasting your time here, I don't want to do that. I would cut this and mirror over one side. So let me just do that so we have a nice clean shape. So I split that down the middle. I'll take one of these and get rid of it, and I'm going to take this one and mirror it over. So when I mirror that, cut geometries off, and I have this. Okay, so that's going around this edge in a nice way, and I do have this inset just a little bit here. So let's see what this would do for us if we were to take this and subtract it in Zbrush. So I'm going to take this and I'll export that one first. So File, Export Selection, and for now I'll keep it in the same folder I was working earlier. We'll call this our high. And then this one right here, I'm going to call that my low. So Export Selection. All right, let's bring up Zbrush. And I'm going to import my high. So my high, open that one up, draw it out, go to edit mode, and now I'm going to make sure that I import my low. Now this may look like they're the same, but they are not, because if I take my high and then I append the low, you can see that it's kind of doing that for me. So cool, I've got that going on. Now that I have that, I'm going to take this one and make sure it is in subtract mode. I'm also going to duplicate these just in case if I mess up, because I am accident prone and I don't want to accidentally lose anything. Now that I have that, if I go into my geometry and I apply a Dynamesh, make sure I hide other stuff so I'm not seeing other things here. Okay, so right now the Dynamesh that I have applied is not of a high enough res, I think. And actually, let's see here. If I go to my geometry, turn off Dynamesh, I'm going to undo that. I'm going to hit I'm going to increase the subdivisions on that, and now I'll Dynamesh this. No, I'm okay. We'll go up a little bit higher than that, Dynamesh. Alright, so that's pretty good. Now with this other one, I'm not going to do anything fancy with this lower one. I just want to make sure that it is also Dynameshed. And let's increase our res just so it's not fuzzing out on us. Alright, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to subtract that one. So I will go into merge, merge down, hit OK. And you won't see anything happening. It just looks like it's one object. However, I know that I merged two Dynamesh objects and one was set to subtract. So if I re-Dynamesh that, now I have that piece cut out. So I spent maybe a couple seconds doing that. I'm going to do that one more time for you guys. So let me back this train up. And, okay, so I don't need to have all these extra ones. I'll make it so it's easier guys to see. High res mesh, low res mesh. I'm going to make sure I increase the resolution on them just so I can actually have something better to work with in Zbrush. What's the point of working with Zbrush if it looks low res? My low res mesh has to look like this little icon on here, which is a subtractive. So now, both of these we need to turn into Dynameshes, and I'm going to increase that Dynamesh res. So there's one, and here's my other one. I'm going to go again Geometry, increase my Dynamesh, and so I have both of these turned to Dynamesh. With this first one, I'm just going to go to merge down. So when I merge down, this one will be kept. This one will subtract this form from that one. So merge down. And it's going to look like this right now until we re-Dynamesh. So turn off Dynamesh, turn it back on, and it sucked out that other part. So now we have that one piece of geometry that's flowing all the way around here. Now, it is going to be important that you decide on what resolution that you're working with, because right now you can kind of see some little chunks on here, which I think aesthetically you can play as, you know, little scratches and stuff on the beveled object here. But if you don't like that, we can also try to res that up a little bit more, see if that's going away. If not, we can always increase the resolution of the Dynamesh, and before we even Dynamesh, we can increase our resolution on the geometry or on our subtools. So divide it. So this is just a quick way to be able to get a shape subtracted from another shape, and in my opinion, I think is a very fast way that we can get some detail on a form without spending an awful lot of time in Maya trying to get a bevel on that after the fact that you've already generated a bevel around the soft edges like this.